Another issue is dealing with DCF. And DCF, it used to be called the Department of Social Services, but at this point it's called the Department of Children and Families. And usually it's a fairly nightmarish position if the Department of Children and Families is in your life. That's one of these ones that I would strongly recommend anybody get a lawyer, even if it's an initial investigation. Typically what happens with a DCF case is there's an allegation that somebody reports, either a mandated or non-mandated reporter, that there's an issue of allegation of either neglect or abuse that's going on. What happens is they'll call the DCF hotline typically. The hotline then decides whether to screen it in or screen it out. So if they feel that there's nothing to it or very minimal to it, they will screen it out and not doing an investigation. However, if they find that there's enough of a basis to do an investigation, then there'll be a DCF worker that will come to your home typically and will start investigating the issue about either neglect or abuse. At that point, as soon as you can, you do really want to have a lawyer, because you want to make sure that you're not signing releases that you shouldn't be signing, or that you do limited releases and that what you're doing is documented. What can end up happening is it's usually something called a 10-day investigation. They'll either support or unsupport the 51A allegation. If they support the allegation, they'll give you notice, and essentially what you'd want to do is immediately file a fair hearing appeal. It generally takes some time to get the hearing, but you want to make sure that you don't miss the time standards. DCF can also file a petition with the court, can try and do an emergency removal of a child, can file something called a care and protection case. In addition, DCF might talk to you about whether or not you want voluntary services, whether or not if they're older children, whether a parent filing a CHINS case, either a stubborn child where your child not following the reasonable commands of the parent, or runaway if the child's running away, or two, that the parent can be the petitioner. The other two aspects on a CHINS are school related. One is truancy, where the child's not going to school, and a second is a habitual school offender, where the child's getting in a lot of trouble at school. Again, be careful before you actually prepare the petitions and go into court and ask for them, because there's some upsides to doing it, but there are also some downsides. You have a right to request copies of your records. It might take some time, particularly for somebody that's representing themselves, but you do want to request a copy of all DCF or DSS records, and it will be redacted, but you want to make that request. Attorneys can do that as well with releases. If the attorneys representing you would want to do is get releases and get an overview of you as a person, and try and get things from the kid's pediatrician, report cards, things of that nature to be able to show to DCF, again, in a positive light about why this is occurring. And also, if you have an idea of who might be making the allegations, particularly if they're false or exaggerated, why that might be occurring. You see a lot of those happening when there's custody disputes in probate court or things of that nature. But DCF, once they're involved, is generally not easy to get uninvolved in your life, even if you didn't do anything wrong, and you want to make sure that you're not saying anything that can be used against you.